What's up, my little pretties? It's your mistress, the Queen of Lions here, and today, welcome back to another episode of Shadows and Pretties. Now, today, this is episode 7, and today I am going to be talking about the Disney's Robin Hood. Now, this movie, Disney's Robin Hood, is an animated romantic musical comedy film produced by Walt Disney and was released in 1973. Of course, it's one of its 21st Disney's animated feature film. Of course, this story, basically involves Robin Hood, Little John, and everyone else in Nottingham fighting against the excessive taxation of Prince John, of course, and Robin Hood wins the hand of Maid Marian. So, of course, we do have some voice actors that are familiar from certain movies. So, before I get started with, explaining, I did a review on this movie, so if you want to check out my review for it, feel free to. But since today is a podcast, I'm going to basically refresh the memory of the movie for those of you who, basically for those who haven't seen the movie in like a long time. I'm sure most of us have seen this movie as a kid on VHS, and even on DVD, we've seen it at right nowadays. Now, of course, this is actually the ideas of, with using Robin Hood with the anthropomorphic animals rather than during people. Of course, this is when Aristocats was made. So, of course, a lot of people really think that this was actually a good movie, and of course it is. Of course, we do have a famous actor named Phil Harris who plays as Little John in the movie, but he also has the voice of Thomas O'Malley in the Aristocats and even Baloo the Bear in the Jungle Book. Of course, there are some other ones. Well, I think we do see Pat Buttram. He has Chief's voice in The Fox and the Hound, but I do believe he's played other movies as well, so if you want to check them out. But yeah, let me explain. Now, this is basically entirely the animal version of Robin Hood, which I actually found this to be rather good. So around Robin Hood became one of the productions when around the time Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was being made. So that's actually quite interesting to say the least. So without any further ado, I'm going to be explaining this the best as they can. Now, of course, there is something right here that I'm going to be honest. This was actually one of the best Disney movies ever. I know there's other ones, but this one was actually one of them that I really do enjoy. Now, of course, it's actually a really cute movie. I can definitely say it was actually really cute, in my opinion. So, I am going to basically, refresh the memory and explain, about the movie. For those of you who haven't seen the movie in like a very long time, or for those who want a refresher, or for those who haven't seen it yet, then I'm going to be explaining every bit of it. So if you want to watch the movie review on it, feel free to. Now, Robin Hood this film is narrated by Rooster Allen Dale, who explains that Robin Hood and Little John live in Sherwood Forest. Of course, they were robbing the rich and giving to the poor townsfolk in Nottingham. Of course, Nottingham is a city in England, and of course, Sherwood Forest is also a forest in England. So basically, I'm pretty sure this is based on the true story, and I'm really glad that I love that the fact that this is settling around England. So this is actually in the medieval times, how life was before, technology and stuff like that has been, introduced to people and others alike. So, of course, Prince John, who ends up being quote unquote the King of England because he sends his lead henchman to Sheriff Nottingham to catch the two, but of course they fail over time. So meanwhile, Prince John and his assistant Sir Hiss arrive in Nottingham. Of course, Sir Hiss has hypnotized Prince John's brother King Richard to go off in the Crusades. Of course, quote unquote, the reason why Prince John did that, so he could take the throne. So in my perspective, this is kind of like, since Prince John and even King Richard are like brothers, this kind of reminds me of The Lion King a little bit. If you want to hear my podcast talking about that movie, feel free to check out my playlist, and I have all the episodes. But what I do realize is that Prince John is more like Scar, and King Richard is more like Mufasa. I could definitely tell because they're similar, because they are both brothers, for one. And of course, you know, Prince John takes the throne when his assistants or his hypnotizes King Richard. Now, that's, except, in Lion King, Mufasa gets killed by Scar, and Scar takes over the throne. But there's no death in this, so basically it's kind of like King Richard's playing the role of Mufasa, while meanwhile Prince John's taking the role of, you could already guess it, and I'm going to be honest, and he take a guess on, playing as, the role of Scar. I'm not trying to say they actually copy that, but they probably just get inspiration from it, so inspirations are fine. So, however, allowing Prince John to take over the throne, but unfortunately he is greedy and immature, and even sucks his own thumb when his own mother is mentioned. So, basically, Robin Hood and Little John rob Prince John, and by disguising themselves as fortune tellers. So, of course, that's basically how they get away with certain things, like Prince John, like Robin Hood, and even Little John disguises themselves as certain characters because, Prince John doesn't like the two of them, and it's the only way they can sneak in and out of certain places and situations without getting noticed or caught. Now, later on in the movie, we see the sheriff of Nottingham taxes Friar Tuck and a family of rabbits, but however, Robin Hood gives back the money to the rabbits, and giving his hat and archery kit to the young rabbit Skippy, since it was Skippy's birthday. And of course, his friend tests out the archery kit, but of course, Skippy accidentally fires the arrow grounds of Maid Marian's castle. So, of course, the children again sneaking inside, meeting Maid Marian and her attendant, Lady Cluck. So, Maid Marian reveals that she and Robin Hood were childhood sweethearts, but they have not seen each other for many years. Friar Tuck eventually visits Robin Hood and Little John, explaining that Prince John is hosting an archery tournament, and the winner will receive a kiss from Maid Marian. So, obviously, basically Robin Hood loves Maid Marian, and he wants to, give her the kiss and that. So Robin agrees to participate in the tournament, but of course, he disguises himself as a stork, so Little John disguises himself as the Duke of Trottery just to get near Prince John. So Sir Hiss discovers Robin's identity. Of course, he then ends up getting trapped in a barrel of ale or ginger ale by Friar Tuck and Ellen and Dale. Of course, Robin eventually wins the tournament, but Prince John ends up exposing him and has him arrested for execution, despite Maid Marian's pleas. But of course, I can understand, Robin Hood was a dark movie, and all these death threats and stuff like that, that's not out of the ordinary for Disney. Disney does a lot of weird things at times. There are certain times in certain movies that Disney, puts dark themes into it. Yeah, I can understand, some Disney movies are pretty dark. Like, I actually found the Tarzan to be one of the darker ones in my opinion, but this one was actually just as dark as Tarzan. It's not out of the ordinary for Disney to do anything like this. Like, this is basically based on the medieval times, and this is basically what life was like back then. But anyway, let's get started. So, of course, Little John eventually threatens Prince John, leading into a fight between Robin, Little John, Maid Marian, and etc. threaten the Prince John's soldiers. So, of course, Prince John tries to, attack Robin Hood and everyone else, but everyone gets away. And of course, the next scene shows, Robin Hood and Maid Marian fall in love, again, as the townsfolk sing a song. And of course, they were marking Prince John, describing him as the phony King of England. And arranged by the sum, of course, Prince John triples the taxes, but of course that ends up imprisoning most of the townsfolk who cannot or refuse to pay their taxes. So the sheriff visits Friar Tuck's church to steal from the poor box. Enraging Friar Tuck, who viciously attacks him to do so, he gets arrested. Which of course, like, Prince John is like a very much like a shadow though that really, likes to haunt people. Like, he's basically trying to steal money, and, that's kind of fraud, in my opinion. What Prince John's doing is really much fraud. So, of course, eventually, Prince John plans to hang Friar Tuck and lure Robin Hood and kill him. So, basically, he's trying to, plan to, hang Friar Tuck in front of everyone in the kingdom, which is very messed up, because that is the kind of punishment they used to do to people back then in the olden days as well. So I did notice they used to do that. I'm lucky they don't do that anymore, but even though there might be some people that still do it, but it's still messed up. People, it's really messed up. So, of course, Robin Hood and Little John sneak in, and of course, Little John was able to free all the prisoners. Of course, Robin Hood eventually steals all of Prince John's taxes, but of course, Sir Hiss ends up waking up and finding Robin Hood freely. So this is when chaos goes all over the place, and of course, follows as Robin and the others try to escape to Sherwood Forest, and of course, the sheriff ends up cornering Robin, and he is forced to rescue Skippy's younger sister, saying fire to the Prince John's castle. Of course, Robin then leaps from the tower into the moat down below, and of course, Little John and Skippy fought that Robin was apparently drowned and died. But of course, eventually Robin Hood comes out and he says that he's alive and stuff like that. So he's basically alive, pretty much. So, of course, when Prince John is driven in blind rage, he ends up getting so mad at Sir Hiss. That King Richard returns to England, placing his brother and his cohorts under arrest. And of course, that allows Robin Hood and Maid Marian to be married and leave Nottingham, while Little John and Skippy just do what they normally do. Okay. Now, there is a few things that I would like to say that were, that was basically Robin Hood. Just a little fresher for those who haven't seen it in a while, and for those who haven't seen it or is considering. Okay. There are a few things that I would like to say that were not in the movie. Now, of course, there is a deleted scene, aka alternate ending, of Prince John, who is attempting to kill a wounded Robin Hood. So, of course, this is on like a DVD. So, basically what happens is the alternative scene where Robin Hood gets injured and Little John ends up taking Robin Hood to the church so he can recover. So meanwhile, Sir Hiss and Prince John ended up going in through, the forest to find Robin Hood. And they found out that, that Maid Marian's looking all alone, and while Robin's getting, while Little John goes out to get something to heal Robin, eventually, in this scene, we see that, basically Prince John is attempting to kill Robin Hood while he's passed out. But of course, Maid Marian tries to stop. But eventually, King Richard shows up and ends up finding out why this was going on is because, Prince John can heir the throne. And that causes, things to backfire. And Prince John ends up getting arrested. So basically, that's the same end. Well, it's basically kind of similar to the ending we get. But I could definitely say that, it's, that it's really messed up. I'm definitely going to be honest right here. That it's just really messed up in more ways than I could count. So, of course, we do end up seeing that, eventually we do see that Robin Hood ends up getting, basically he what happens is, he gets arrested and all that. So that's sorry for the long pause right there. I kind of had like a little bit of a brain fart, so to speak. But, we're back, so I can't really say too much. I'm having brain farts today. I don't know why, but I am. But anyways, I'm going to be completely honest, and this is going to sound a little interesting, but here's the thing that I'm going to be honest, and this is the main thing that I really have to say. Now, here's one thing I'm going to say, and note that this is actually something that's really true. Now, this is based on the true story of Robin Hood. Now, the Disney one they did, even though it was more violent, the basic Robin Hood movie, like, not the legend, but of course, like but this is kind of I could just say that, it just probably, that's how it starts off with, Zootopia and that, and they did other ones. However, here's something I'm going to be completely honest right now, is that I just realized that in April 2020, it was reported that Disney is in developing a live-action remake of Robin Hood, of course, featuring the same kind of anthropomorphic characters and stuff like that. So I don't even know if that's actually true, or that could be a rumor. Like, I don't know if that's a rumor or not, but it's just really messed up. I could definitely completely honest right now that it's just completely messed up, and it's just a lot hard to say. And I'm going to be completely honest with you all with that. So, alright. Now, I guess I kind of, explained about it. Let's talk about the characters of Robin Hood. Now, the characters are pretty cool, and they're reluctantly related to the story, the actual Robin Hood story, that from what we got. Now, in this one, however, even though it has some violence, they eventually, it gets better over time. So it's the main thing that I can definitely say about it. So I could definitely say right here, right now, that it's just really interesting. Like, I could definitely say that. But of course, that's just my opinion on it. But, it's hard to say. You guys can, be completely honest with you on this. So, of course, that's just my opinion on certain things. But, I'm just kind of, going overboard here. But I could definitely say that this is actually one of the best movies, like, of Disney. Now, this is actually one of the best movies of Disney. And, of course, I do know Disney has done, a lot of stuff. But, this is actually one of them that is just pretty good. I'm going to wrap up this review this podcast, as it's going as long as it is. And I'm going to be completely honest. Now, I'm just going to be honest and, wrap up this review. Okay. I actually found this movie to be quite good. It was amazing, and I really like to know that this movie was actually pretty awesome, in my opinion. Like, what I do like about it was that it's flat out amazing, and it's, of course, it's something that I really understandable with this opinion of this movie. Now, for those who don't like the movie, that's fine. That's your opinion. But, the actual story of Robin Hood is a little more darker and really messed up too. But including with Disney, even though Disney, made it, as messed up as it normally is, it's still really interesting, to say the least. So that can honestly, proven something. Of course, it's just, it's really messed up, to say the least. So I could definitely say right now, it's just really messed up in my opinion, but of course, that's just basically, what I feel. But, here's the thing. If you have not seen this movie, I highly recommend you go check it out. And for those who want to take a look at it, you're more than welcome to check it out if you like. So, with that being said, I'm going to be completely honest, and we'll wrap up this podcast now. I will be seeing you all in the next video. I hope you enjoyed coming to my podcast for me talking about Disney's Robin Hood. So I will be leaving a poll on what episode 8 should be on Shadows and Pretties. So if you guys are new to my channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring the notification bell if you want to get notified too when I upload and stuff. Now, I will be seeing you all in the next video. I hope you guys all enjoy. And as always, please, I'll be seeing you all. Please like the video if you haven't done so already. And I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace